Prompt engineering. So folks, prompt engineering is a process of structuring words that can be interpreted and understood by text to image model, as I've already answered that question for you all. So we have a bunch of prompt engineering techniques which we are going to use it. Prompt format. This is, folks, very, very important. As you can see, this entire presentation has been made by AI itself. Okay, so the prompt format is pretty much important. Let me zoom this thing up so as to make it clear for you all. Start by asking a list of questions. Do you want a photo or painting? What's the subject, folks? A person, landscape, what is it? As I've already said, the more specific you are, the better for you. If you ask your friend, hey, bring, I don't know, maybe bring strawberries. So he'll bring you a box of strawberries, maybe 1 strawberry, 10 strawberries, whatever. That's a very generic and vague way of saying something. Yes, it's simple, but it's a very vague way of saying something. But if you say, hey, John, when you're coming out of your house, there's a departmental store, a Walmart or 9-11 something, just a 7-Eleven something, just get a box of strawberries, which costs you $5.99, and then give you a change back, and then so the more detailed you are with your prompts, the better, folks. Don't be shy of giving your details, like not your personal details, obviously. The details that you want from the prompt. If you want an image, go detail. If you want an essay or maybe a letter or maybe an email or something, just get in the details. The more detailed you are, the better it is for the AI model to understand your demand and to fulfill it. Then you put the color and the schemes and this and that and everything. What is this example? Okay, so do you want a photo or painting? Then you say painting. What's the subject of the photo? Person, animal, landscape. A golden doodle. Okay, what are the details that can be added? Wearing a suit, wearing a tie. Okay, what kind of lighting? Natural light. Okay, what's the atmosphere or what's the background in the sky? Okay, what's the color scheme with bright colors or with RBG? Folks, RBG stands for red, blue and green, which is a way of explaining colors. Okay, then we move on to the next one. Folks, here was the painting that was made probably by Stable Diffusion. So this is the painting of a doodle. What was that? Golden doodle wearing a suit, natural light in the sky with bright colors. Okay, so it's fine, folks. As I've already said, Stable Diffusion is not as good as Dolly and all of that, but it's pretty much good. Give me a moment, folks. Let me do an experiment for you guys. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this thing, okay, and I am going to copy this thing. I have my Dolly open right here because I knew this would happen. Or actually I didn't know, just coincidence. And let's generate an image there if needed. Okay, here we have it. A painting of a cute golden doodle wearing the suit, natural light in the sky with bright colors. Let's see what it puts out. Let's see what it brings out of the model. We have to wait a few seconds to get the prompt, and we may be getting closer and closer and closer. And here we have it. Here we go, folks. We have it, and let's compare. Okay, so this is, folks, pretty good. I don't know, something happened in between, but this is pretty good, folks. This is pretty good. And as I already said, folks, because Dolly is a much better model. That's why they charge you money, folks, because if they're charging you for something, it's because there's a lot of money put behind that model to work, okay? I don't know if you know this fact or not, but ChatGPT takes several $100,000 just to keep itself running every single day, despite of the fact whether someone is using it or not. So we got that prompt, and that was it. Okay, a painting of a cute doodle in the sky wearing. So folks, different prompts in different AI models can give you different results. If I just take the same prompt that I took right now and put it in Dolly tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow, it would I can write that on a piece of paper, it would give me a different one. If you do it and you have any text-to-image model, AI model or software, or maybe you're using Leonardo or Stable Diffusion, you'll get a complete different output. It just depends. It's actually a bunch of randomness working on in big machines. The order of the words is important, folks. That's a very important thing. A cat sitting on a Martian table. That's the thing. A cat that is sitting on a table on Mars. That's another thing. A cat that is sitting on a table, the table is on Mars, is another great thing. So you need to know exactly what you're talking. Modifiers. So modifiers are words that can change the style, format, or perspective of the image. There are certain magic words or phrases that are proven to boost the quality of the image. Let's take an example of that. For photography, folks, if because I'm not a photographer, probably 99% of my students are aware of photography. So this is what they say. If you take a close-up shot, that will give you another kind of an image. If you take a extreme close-up, that will be another image. It will, if you medium shot, long shot, whatever. Then you have the style, whether you want a Polaroid, monochrome, color splash, whatever. Then you have the subject. What kind of a subject you want? What is the thing that should be focused and what should be blurred in the background? Then you have a lighting, whether it should be soft, ambient, ring light, or sun, or cinematic. Context, indoor, outdoor, night, in the park, studio, in the sky, on heaven, where. Then you have lens, wide ends, teleport. Folks, you do not need to know all of that, but if you just know some of that, like for example, if you say, make an image as if it has been clicked by iPhone X or iPhone 14, or make an image that has been clicked by a Canon camera, or maybe a Sony something, or maybe a GoPro, then that AI model would be forced to work that thing and mold that output in that image. I'll give you an example, just the example that we took here. Let's put it here, and taken in a GoPro. So folks, GoPro is a kind of a camera which a bunch of vloggers and mountaineers use while they are doing their job. It's a very cool kind of a camera, really small, simple, lightweight, and can have great resistance power. So I just put the text that was already there, the prompt, and just added the words taken in a GoPro. Now, I have forced the model, ChatGPT Dolly here to actually give me the output which has been taken by a GoPro. Now, folks, you'll see the output. Look at that, folks. You saw that one coming? Now compare that thing with the previous one and you'll see. Look at this one. This is completely different from this one. Yes, the background and some may look similar, but this one's pretty better. This one's a lot better than that. Because what did I say? GoPro. So the thing changed completely. And folks, this is what I believe. I believe in doing and teaching at the same time. Next one. We have the photography style, folks. As I've said, it completely depends whether you want Polaroid, tilt shift, product shot, which is good for if you're marketing or launching a product or something, long exposure, whatever. That's a detailed part. Not many of you would use it. I know that. So then you have photography styles. You want portrait, color splash, monochrome, satellite. What kind of an image you actually want from the model? You cannot expect it to write, hey, give me an image of New York and expect it to give a Google Earth or satellite image of New York or Manhattan. No, that's not possible. That's not going to happen. You need to be specific. The more specific you are, the better. Then you have the cameras, as I've already said, lenses, lighting. Lighting is, folks, very important. If you have a neon light, that's a different thing. Natural light, different thing. If you have a vintage thing, that's a different thing. Black and white, different thing. Art mediums. Oh, folks, this one's pretty important, folks. I've used this a bunch of times. And I've burnt my fingers a bunch of times with these things, especially with the models that I try. So whether you want a chalk, whether you want a portrait, whether you want a graffiti, whether you want watercolors, whether you want oil painting, the moment you change the medium of arts, the more you change, the more your prompt is going to change and it's going to refine, or maybe not refine sometimes. Whether you want a pencil drawing, whether you want clay, what is that? Clay model of Game of Thrones, okay. Whether you want fabric, what do you actually want? Be specific. Then you have artist. So what kind of thing do you actually want? So you can actually write, hey, actually I'll show you this one actually, just with the dog example as well. In the style of Leo da Vinci. So folks, I've said in the style of Leonardo da Vinci, this will produce something else. Then if I say, hey, in the style of Michelangelo, or maybe in the style of, what's that guy named? Salvatore Dali, or maybe in the style of, Picasso? Yeah, Picasso. That's a complete different thing. So the more specific you are, the better. There you have it, folks. There you have it. I said Da Vinci, because Da Vinci was very famous for his paintings like The Last Supper and bunch of all that. It was a complete different game altogether. Let me zoom this thing up, because I've said my dolly sometimes just keeps blinking on me. So look at this one. You saw this one? These things, the wise men and all these things, the exact Da Vinci kind of painting. Okay. And then you have whether you want landscape, whether you want a portrait, what do you want? Then you have then so folks, this exactly comes up to the word thing. If you want to create an image of a 1920s haunted house, you just search online about one of the artists who used to draw in that theme and in that way and in that style. Copy the name, because obviously look at this name. This name is pretty big and pretty difficult to spell and spell correctly, and put it there and like create a horror image of a house and this and blah 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 blah, so and so and so and yada yada yada, in this artist's style, and that's it. It'll just pop out, and then you keep refining it. Then anime artists, folks. Anime is actually in Japanese cartoon kind of a style, which is very famous as well. So sci-fi artist, photography. What do you exactly want? Whatever you want, the thing is going to give up to you. And folks, this is something I love. Advanced techniques, that is mixing artist style. Partially in the style of Leonardo, partially in the style of Picasso, partially in the style of Da Vinci, partially in the style of Michelangelo. When you mix and blend a bunch of stuffs, these things just pop out so well. You have seen so many TikTok videos of people doing a bunch of stuffs with different artists and different work and joining them together with AI and creating some new masterpieces. That's how it works done. So folks, yeah, that is probably it from this lecture. I'm going to keep it short, simple, and I'll continue in the next one with the science of prompt engineering. Welcome back again. So folks, we are in the part 2 of the science of prompt engineering, and I believe it's time to begin with our prompting. So just a side note, the most worst part about recording lectures in winters is that you wear so many clothes up that sometimes your clothes just brush against your tools like your computer and all of that, and that creates sounds in the microphone. It doesn't look good, but folks, please excuse me for that. So here is then we were in page number 40. So we have illustrations. So folks, what type of illustrations do you consider? Stable diffusion can be used to create any 3D scene or object you can imagine. Folks, this doesn't just goes for stable diffusion, this goes for probably all of the text to AI models. So can you create in origami? Origami is a very, very, very famous, probably if I'm not wrong, Japanese form of art, which is very famous. And when you were a kid, or probably when I was a kid, that was not long ago, for me at least, we did a bunch of origami in our art and craft classes. Then you have the needle felted scene from The Simpsons, highly detailed. Folks, I don't have any idea about this kind of an art, but probably should be good because the name Simpsons is added to it. Then you have 3D illustrations. You want isometric assets, which is it's kind of a 3D blender. If you are not aware of what Blender is folks, Blender is basically where all these video games are made. If you've ever played a video game in your life, if not, if you've been probably living under a rock, or maybe you're not interested, the best example would be this. If you have ever seen Disney images like Cinderella or what is that, Jungle Book or all that, some part of it's actually a mixture of animation and Blender. So Blender is actually a tool. It's a free tool where you can create those models and create scenes after scenes after scene. You can stitch them all up together and play them. It would look pretty much nice, and it's a 3D version, x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. And I am not an expert in that because it's quite difficult. And then you have some kind of a low poly, and then here we have it, folks. Pixar renders. You remember this kind of a character? These characters are often seen in Disney Pixar movies and the other ones. Then you have more illustration. What kind of illustration you want? Comic, scientific, vector, children's book. What is your demand? Then you want propaganda posters, or you want movie posters, or you want psychedelic art. Folks, psychedelic art is a very, very, very big market because a lot of people like that. Then you want caricature. Okay, that's okay. Then you want the splash art. Okay. Then you want stickers. You want fantasy maps. The more you are into it, the more you are focused with your prompts, the better for the AI machine. I'm going to folks show you an example of this one actually. So the image that I showed you here, let's actually remove that image. We've been using it for long. So make an image of a lion King in origami and Pixar version together. Make a lake behind him in the form of splash art. Make it detailed yet classy and trendy, still keeping the art and the soul of the creation. So, folks, look at how detailed my prompt was. And this was, folks, a live prompt. I didn't use AI for this. Make an image of Lion King, origami, Pixar. These are two different kinds. Then I said the lake should be in the splash art form, which is the third kind of art. And then I said make it classy and trendy, which are others. So it's basically like a blending a bunch of stuffs and making it in a lab and then presenting it in front of the things. Okay, so I got it. So the reason why it didn't happen was because of this. I wrote here Pixar, and Pixar is actually a copyrighted thing of Disney. So what I can say is that, okay, remove Pixar and add, let's take someone from this one, add what was that? Add psychedelic art, okay? Let me copy this thing and let's put it here and add psychedelic art to the prompt. Now it's probably gonna produce it. Because maybe, yeah, folks, I know this may sound so dumb because I wasn't trying to do anything with the copyright thing, but still ChatGPT and OpenAI didn't allow me. That's okay, folks, because sometimes even unnecessary restrictions and regulations are needed because we don't know who's doing what and what they intend to do. So it's better to be a little more strict in the beginning, so we can get lenient as and when time flows. And folks, as you can see, the content policy has been approved and we have an image that is going to be produced now. And folks, again, it didn't allow me to generate the image. I said, now I'm going to ask it, what is wrong with my prompt that you didn't allow me? And now I'm going to ask the model, what is wrong with my prompt? The issue with prompt is not in context but with the specific combination you have requested. The elements of origami, splash, and psychedelic are depicted characters and can be challenging to generate while adhering to the content policies for image generation. To successfully generate is helpful to a simpler, non-direct concept. Folks, that is the problem with these AIs. When you put a lot of combinations, they just fall flat on their back. Okay, so do your own thing and give me an art. Folks, sometimes you need to be strict. It's like, do your own thing, give me a damn art. I've asked for art, give it to me. I've paid the subscription for this thing. I want to teach my students, folks. Come on, GPT. Don't embarrass me in front of so many folks. Probably most of my students are new students here, yeah. Don't embarrass me, boy. So yeah, so it's going to generate this thing. And so folks, sometimes it happens. And I will never cut these things from my post-production because I hate those sugar coating and all of that. Folks, look at that. Lion is not there, obviously, because I don't know what happened. Something happened and it didn't. But still, like, the image is fine. I wouldn't say 10 on 10, but it's a good looking image. And it took all the things that I said, probably, except for one or two. It had splash art. It didn't have Pixar, obviously. And it didn't have origami as well. But it gave me quite a soothing one. And also a river or a lake, whatever I said. So yeah, that's good. Then we move on to character design. Now, what kind of a character design you want? Emotions. Simple feeling modifiers can set the atmosphere of the scene. Now, what kind of emotions you want in your generations? You want a cozy, you want it to be joyful, you want to be energetic, you want to be sympathetic, you want it to be passionate, you want to be depressing. The tone you set in, the emotions you set in would define a bunch of things. You want satisfaction, you want a peaceful, you want hope. What do you want by that? You want depressing, you want grim, regret, suffering, fear, disgust. What do you want? The more you are prompt, the more you are into it, the more you are exact with your thing, exactly pinpoint the thing that you want, the better results you will get. And keep going. If your image just, if your AI model like GPT or DALL-E just did what they did to me right here, do not worry. Just ask them, hey, what's the problem? What's the problem with the image? They'll tell you, and you just then do your own thing. Just don't give up. So then you have the aesthetics. What do you want? Weird core, I don't know what that means. You want acid wave, you want dream core, you want vapor wave. What kind of a texture you want on the image? Okay, you want what is that? Liminal space. You want after hours, you want brutalism. You want apocalyptic. Damn, now you know I can't spell apocalyptic at once. You want, what kind of thing you want? Then you have the magic words. Folks, this is really important. Please keep your attention here. Quality words like you want HD, UHD, 4K, 8K, 64K can make a dramatic difference. And I've seen this, folks, a bunch of times. So if I say make it in 8K, I don't know, folks, if GPT allows 8K, but okay, so it doesn't have the thing. Okay, so I'll say just do it in 4K or whatever. It can do 1024 by 1024. So it'll do in 1024 by 1024. If I said do it in 200 by 200 pixels, it'll do that. The more resolution up, the clearer the picture, the more beautiful. The more resolution down, the more fuzzier the picture, because the less pixels are there. And yeah, it's a poor quality image. And it'll generate me a great image here. And as you can see, folks, it's a really detailed image. You cannot specify a lot, but still it's a really detailed image to look at from a really first viewpoint. Okay, then we have, this is Joan of Arc portrayed by Jennifer Lawrence concept, and this is Joan of Arc portrayed by Jennifer Lawrence, highly detailed. So this was a very basic one which looked ridiculous. This was a really good prompt, detailed, so it looked not exactly but quite close. Then this was Morgan Freeman with staring as 50 Cent, portrait this lens. This was cinematic for Morgan Freeman. And folks, this is how it goes. The more you do that, the better. Okay, the more focused you are with exactly what you want. Bokeh mode. This is a very important thing, folks, because I think most of my iPhone users, because I don't have an iPhone, I am an Android guy, have this thing called a bokeh mode. Probably Android users have that too. So do you want it in bokeh mode? You want it in portrait? What kind of mode you want it to be in? Resolution is also there. You want sketch or you want a painting? Okay. Then stable diffusion parameters. What kind of a resolution do I want, folks? As I've already said, 512 by 512 or something else. Then what is this? These are some advanced things you don't need most of. And yeah, so there you have the important tips here. When to use the CFG values. CFG2, creative but not might follow the prompt. CFG 7 or 10 recommended for most prompts, good between. Folks, so there is one thing that I actually encountered here in Leonardo's AI. Probably you'll have a section of Leonardo if you're watching this in 2024. Yeah, I have taught Leonardo in 2023 as well, but you'll have the updated version in 2024 for free. So folks, there's this thing in Leonardo which isn't available in DALL-E actually, which actually tells you how exact you want or how powerful your art should be in accordance with your prompt. What I mean by that is this. It's taking, 5 million years to load here. Yeah, folks. Here we have it. It just took a little more time than usual. Here we have it, folks. So folks, I'll actually show you this live here. I wasn't supposed to do it, but I'll do it anyway. Hell. So this was actually I was trying on something, and this was the thing. So folks, this is my canvas where I can draw, hey, anything, who, and this is where the output will come out. So there's this button here, folks, this one. Look at this one. Can you see this one? It's called Creativity Strength. The more this button is, and this can only work in Leonardo AI, folks, by the way. The more this is pulled towards the right side, like the more you want it to focus on your prompt, the more creative Leonardo would go. Okay. But if somehow you push it there on the left side and the number goes down, the number goes up, the prompt becomes better and better and better. The number goes down, the prompt becomes ridiculous. And you'll see that. Look at that. Look at that. This looks exactly the same way, right? So that was it. And folks, probably that's it from this lecture. And as you already know, Seed's words are very important. As you can see, photo of a cute dog holding an umbrella, photo of a cute cat holding an umbrella. Two different stuffs. And that was it. So folks, yeah, that is it. That would probably be helpful. And I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you. Hey everyone, welcome back again to the part 3 of our prompt engineering part, which is the science of prompt engineering, I believe. And this is the part 3 of it. So folks, for this time, and this is probably page number 81, as you can see on the bottom, we have, oops, it just flipped on me. Wait a second. Yeah, here we go. So we have something called negative prompt. Now folks, what is a negative prompt? Folks, when you put a prompt, like give me an image of a cat, it'll give you an image of a cat. But if you put like a prompt like, give me an image of a cat, but now in the negative prompt, do not include 2 cats, 5 heads, 10,000 limbs, fuzzy image, blurry image, all of that. That is a negative prompt. Negative prompt is a prompt that you do not want to be included in the image. So, for example, look at this screen here, and then I'll show you my example with Dolly live on this lecture. So this was the first image, portrait photo of Genghis Khan. So it gave you an image of portrait of Genghis Khan, whatever. Then you put the negative prompt, and you can add the negative prompt that you do not want to see, like black and white, monochrome. And it's the same thing, but the same prompt. And you put the same prompt again, and now you will not see the monochrome and the black and white portrait of Genghis Khan. You'll get a different version of it, but not the version that you got in the first part. Let me show you a live example for that. Okay, give me an a comic image of an animal. Now give me a comic image of an animal. The Dolly is gonna, because right now when I'm recording, it's nighttime here in my country, and probably it's morning in most European and American countries. So maybe a lot of people are using Dolly early in the morning. So it'll take a few seconds and it'll load up. Now folks, you may think what BS am I talking about, like of the things. But folks, if you don't believe me, just do this thing. Or if you've been using Dolly, you will know that during sometimes Dolly would not work that well because of too much load on their servers and so many people searching so many stuffs. So folks, this is an image that I got, and I would be honest, it's a pretty good image with such a plain and simple prompt. Now folks, if you can look properly in the first image, there's a bear there. If you can see on the left side, there's a bear. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy my prompt here to save time. Give me that, and I'll say negative prompt. You can write the way I am writing, or you can just say, do not include this and this. Do not copy me. If you want, you can, but do not. It's not mandatory to put negative prompt and then colon and do that. Negative prompt, do not include owl and a bear. Go. So now as you can see, there is no owl and no bear at all. Look at these 2 images. And then these 2 images. So that is how a negative prompt actually works in real life. Next one. Image in and out painting. So sketch to professional art. You can actually give it a drawing or something of on a paper or something, and it'll create an image out of that. Then you have converting styles. You can, what is that? It is possible for you to change the style of an image by editing the prompt. Obviously. Now, if instead of comic, I would have said, give me a realistic one, it would have given me a realistic one for that sake. Let's back to a PDF. Image to image variation. So folks, image to image variation is a really important part. It is useful for creating a variety of images and getting similar images. Okay. So for example, here's the first image. Cherry Blossom in an Empty Park by Thomas Kinkade. Here's the first image. This one's Cherry Blossom in an Empty Park by Thomas Kinkade. If you wish to create an image but something isn't quite right for you, then do it again. Prompt it again. With this, you can see there's a changed layout and the time of the day, but kept the idea of the original image. So folks, if I hadn't I'll give you an example. Let's remove that and let's take this one again. So if I put on the prompt again, give me folks, do it yourself if you have Dolly and ChatGPT 4. Just type this thing, copy this thing, give me a comic image of an animal. Do not put anything else, and I swear, I promise you, you will not get the image that I got. Why? Because that is how the AI works. It's just a land of randomness, and we just get amazed. By the way, these images are beautiful for me. I'll definitely